Hi guys, welcome to another bowling review. So today we're gonna do an update on the two bowling brothers. So earlier I can link to you guys to my, or you can watch my earlier video, which is the update on Adam. So Adam and Ariff actually previously sent me videos for review, and they are followers of the channel. They have watched some of my videos, gotten some tips off of it, and tried it out. So they sent me a review. I posted my review to them, and they have tried out advice, and then practice more on their own. And now, like a few months later, they're sending me an update on their form as well. So the earlier video was on Adam, and now this is on the, I believe should be the elder brother Ariff. So on the left is actually the old video that he sent me a few months ago last year. Okay, so I think in the old video the issues were that a little bit of a slower foot speed, swing speed was rather slow as well, and the main thing was that he swung around the hips, right, as you can see here. So he swings around the hips. Probably caught that out as well. So in the new video he actually changed it a little bit, so let's take a look. Yep, so now he swings under the hips. So, and he developed a sort of a bad habit as well. So you will notice like he has this big step to the left, which wasn't that obvious in his older video. So here he had a little bit of step to the left, but it wasn't that obvious. So now I think he kind of misunderstood like how to get the ball under the body, because he is getting the ball under the body, but by doing it you can see that he's doing this big step to the left, so which is the wrong way of doing it, because he's incorporating drift into his approach where it shouldn't have been. So ideally, what you want to do here is, this is what you want to avoid doing, is that you want to avoid moving here. You want to avoid this drift. But how you're going to get the ball under your hips is that you just want to shift the hips to the left as you place the ball downwards. So as you place the ball and the ball swings downwards, you just want to shift your hips to the left and have the ball swing as close to your hips, as close to your right thigh as possible. Yeah, so that, I mean, you want to eliminate drift as much as possible. You want minimal drift. So yeah, so he is getting the ball through his hips, because as you can see here, actually he doesn't need to drift, right? So Ariff here, actually in this particular frame, like he's already opening up his hips, right? So his hips already goes to the left without him needing to move his legs to the left, right? So since his hips already are moving to the left, he already has enough space for the ball to swing through. So there's no reason for him to actually move his legs to the left. So this is a development of a bad habit, which hopefully Ariff can change after watching this video. You want to keep your legs walking as straight as possible, because in his older video, he's actually walking a lot straighter. It's not perfectly straight, but you can see here, it is actually a lot straighter. So you actually want to keep this straight approach, because it is going to help your consistency in hitting your target. Okay, so that was the big flaw. So other than that, let's take a look at his finishing position. So finishing position on both sides, maybe you zoom in a bit. Okay, on both videos, compare the old and the new. So not much improved. I would say his old form is actually a little bit better as well, because you can see he has a little bit more knee bend. So to give him the benefit of a doubt, like we're gonna see after the release. Yeah, so now actually in the new form, yeah, Ariff actually has developed a bad habit of actually standing straighter. So he has actually less knee bend here. You can see his legs are straighter compared to the old one where he has a little bit more knee bend. So the old video is a bit better. His back trailing leg is also a little bit more bent because he's getting a little bit lower. But his new form is that it's totally straight, and his back leg is actually totally straight, which is actually not what we want. So during release, so let's check his old form, right? During release, yeah. So his balance arm is also not up as well. Same here, balance arm doesn't go too high up. So here, Ariff actually has his balance arm up during the release, but unfortunately he doesn't. He didn't practice this. I think he does stay at the foul line. Yep. So he does stay at the foul line until the ball hits the pins, which is actually what I advise for all new bowlers. But Ariff here has to keep his balance arm up as well. So he has to keep the balance arm up at the finishing position for as long as possible, so until the ball hits the pins. So the knees actually has to stay bent a lot like what he used to do. So this actually is good. So you should actually keep this lower part of his form, but integrate this, having the balance arm straight up throughout the finishing position until the ball hits the pin. So this is to practice good discipline for like a very solid, stable finishing position. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, ball speed wise, I already did time the old ball speed versus the new ball speed. So it is actually roughly about the same because his foot speed and swing speed actually hasn't increased by a ton. So I can play both. Yeah, so both of them release about the same time. Yeah, so it's actually about the same. So his new speed is about like 21 kilometers per hour, is almost hitting 21, like the high range of 20. And the old ball speed was in the high range of 19. So I would say 20 kilometer per hour and 21 kilometer per hour for the old and new speed respectively. So not big changes there, because what Ariff actually needs to change is his new approach is that he actually needs a lot faster foot speed and a lot higher swing speed. Also, Ariff is still doing what we call the what I would term the earlier ball placement timing, or the conventional ball placement timing, where he's moving his ball along with the second step. You can see here. Here, his second step hasn't fully hit the floor. At the end of the second step, yeah, I think he could probably delay it a little bit more. It's actually not too bad. So it's not too early. So this is so Ariff holds on to it, right? Let's see whether it's an improvement of his old form. Let's check it out. So in his old form, yeah, it's not too bad also. So in his old form, it's almost when he's going to step on the second step, which is right here, that he moves his ball. Okay, so it's almost at the end of the second step. You can probably delay it a little bit more, then we can check on his new form. It's actually exactly the same. So he's almost going to take his, going to finish his second step. So this is the last part of second step, and then he starts moving his ball up. So it's not too bad. It's slightly delayed, but I would suggest he could delay it maybe a little bit more, like delay it like half a step more until his second step like steps on the floor, and his third step is beginning to move here. So I would say this would be the ideal timing when the second step steps on the floor. Third step is actually moving forward. Third step is moving forward here. Then move the ball up into the placement. So to delay it by probably just like a half a step more. So that will delay the timing a little bit more, and hopefully that will help to speed up the swing a bit better. So he has a little bit of delay of his swing here at the lower half. If you watch, like the downswing starts fast, but as he pushes the ball through, it's actually going a little bit slow. Yep. And the footwork especially needs to speed up quite a fair bit. So I mentioned the earlier drills that I did before. Okay, so these are the earlier drills that I did before, which is to go really close to the foul line, closer to the foul line, and then just work on speeding up your how should I say, your foot speed. This is normal distance, but basically you go from close to the foul line to have a really high tempo foot speed, like shuffle, and then go into the release as fast as you can. Then you take 2 steps back, then take a medium distance. Okay. And then finally you want to go back to your normal distance, but you want to try and keep the foot speed. So the important thing here is to speed up the foot speed. So when you speed up the foot speed, generally your swing speed should go a little bit faster as well, because our body synchronize our swing along with our foot speed. So we want to synchronize those. Because our body synchronizes the swing speed along with our foot speed, with our footwork. So when you speed up your footwork, you generally will speed up the swing as well. Then with faster footwork, you're generating more momentum forward, right? And with higher swing speed, you're also generating more momentum on the ball. So hopefully that gives your ball a lot more ball speed. Other than that, let me zoom out. Okay, let's take a look at Ariff's new form. So my only big gripe is his drift. Let's take a look at his starting stance. His starting stance is not too bad, right? So legs are fairly straight, back is fairly straight. I would appreciate if he has his shoulder going a little bit lower, so bowling shoulder can go a little bit lower during the stance. Then you could work on delaying his ball placement a little bit more. Yep. So what I like about him now is that he keeps his swing in as compared to his old one, where his old one, his swing was like, there was a big gap, right? So this was the big improvement here that I noticed. In the old one, he has this big gap from between the ball to his left hip, but with the new one, the gap is a lot smaller, but it come at the cost of this. So I like Ariff to change this. That means change the third step to walk straight, but yet you still keep your hips twisted in, just like what he does. So Ariff always has twisted his hips to the left, but you want to keep the swing on the inside of the shoulder. So you want to keep the swing as close to his left thigh, as close to his as close to his right thigh, as close to his right hip as possible. Okay, there is that. So there is a big improvement here. And I think this actually helps him to get a lot better control on the ball, because now you can see in his backswing, okay, his backswing wise, it still looks the same. His backswing is a little bit more extended, I believe, but by keeping the swing in, I think that helped with Ariff's accuracy, because his ball projection should be better, because in the past he was actually swinging around the hips, and then when he releases, it's actually further away from his left shoe. So now, let's check here. So now as he release, it's actually slightly closer to his left shoe. You can see he's right on top of his left shoe. Yep, but in the past, there was this amount of distance from between his left leg and his ball. So now it's right on top of his left shoe. In the past, it was a little bit further away from his left shoe. So the closer the ball is released to his left shoe, the more control and leverage the bowler should feel. And it also helps the bowler to have to play deeper lines, because if you're releasing it closer to your left shoe, you can actually play deeper lines. Your projection lines will be a bit better because it's closer to your left shoe. Things that I would like him to change would be this. Like you can see that he's sliding. He used to be a bit worse. You can see here his left shoe is sliding in from left to right, so he's going inwards like this. Here is still going inwards, so I would rather he has his left shoe sliding straight, right? If you could slide his left shoe straight, that means his ball lands even closer to his left leg, and he gets even more leverage, and he gets better projection, better launch angles, because then the ball will land even closer, then he can send the ball out even more. He has more options when it comes to like launch angles, so that will help improve his game better. His bowling shoulder is same unchanged, so bowling shoulder is low on release, so that's pretty good. So other than that, let's see, anything else I could comment about his form? Yep. So so mainly the lower half, the lower portion should have more knee bend and stuff like that, which I already mentioned at the beginning of the video. Balance arm should stay up. Let's see where his eyes are looking at. Yep. So as he swings, as he goes in the release, so here the backswing is actually a little bit too high, I believe. So his spine tilt might be a little bit excessive. It still seems okay, but might be a little bit excessive spine tilt. The backswing seems to be a bit too high, like it's actually going higher actually. So what I mean by backswing is this: you see, for two-handed bowlers, if you're keeping your if you keep your backswing with a straight elbow, the most it should reach is this area, your hip area. So even though he has his elbows bent, yes, it could go a little bit higher, but generally you don't want to have too high of a backswing. Here. Okay. So I see some changes to his backswing and how he grips the ball. So I think this is an improvement as well. It's pretty subtle. If you notice, his index finger now points towards the target, whereby in the past his index finger was pointing towards the other lane. So now his fingers are a little bit more on the inside of the ball. So if we try and zoom in here. Let's zoom in to his backswing, right? Compare the old and the new. Yep. So this is actually an improvement in the new form, whereby you can see his index finger here points towards the swing, is along with the swing plane, so it's sending towards his target, and that means his middle and ring finger is on the inside of the ball, compared with the older one, whereby you can see his index finger is pointing way to the right side, and if you see the location of his middle and index finger, it's not on the inside of the ball, it's under the ball, but we would prefer it to have it on the inside. So now with his new swing, his hands are actually on his ring finger and middle finger on the inside of the ball, and that will help him to create like side rotation a lot better, and he can still stay behind the ball yet create side rotation. So the ref rate actually should be slightly higher. I don't think it changes the ref rate that much, but it does actually help with the accuracy as well. But the backswing is a little bit high. So like the older backswing height was actually better. He kept it closer to his hips. You can see here. So his hips is here, right? Yeah. So the older one was actually closer to his hips. Then the new one is his hips is his. So his swing is up here, but his hips are here. So the gap is a little bit bigger. So I would actually prefer him to keep the backswing a little bit lower, so that it's lower to the hips. Then that way the swing takes less time to complete. Okay, so that is something he can work on. Anything else? Yeah, spine tilt is a little bit on the low end. Does it pop up during release? I think it does. A little bit. So you can see here, let's compare the old and the new one. Yeah, so both and the new one, he pops up his head a little bit. It's not too bad, but let's take a look at where the head is on the backswing. So the head was here, right? And here the head was here. And then let's move it. As he releases, his head bobs, so his head goes low. Okay, let's take a look here. So here his head goes low, and then as he releases, the head comes up to here. Oops. Yeah, I moved the video, my bad. Head goes low, okay, here, and then it comes up here. This one, yeah, so his head comes up here. Okay, so in both actually old and new videos, his head does move there, but I think the culprit of that, why his head moves, is because his spine tilt was too steep during the downswing. So what I mean by spine tilt is this. That means the amount of tilt in your spine, when in this case for him is going into his fourth step or power step, so it's actually too steep. Because you see during the finishing position, his spine tilt is 45 degrees forward, which is good. So the two-handed bowlers should actually keep this 45 degree spine tilt as they go into the fourth step. So this spine tilt is a little bit steep at the fourth step. So when it's too steep, your body will naturally want to pop up. So the body will naturally pop up here. I can see the spine tilt changes here. Because if you were to stay so steep with your spine tilt, right, you would fall forward on the lane. So which is why the spine tilt changes as he releases. Okay, so there is something that he can work on. That means to not go too steep with a spine tilt in the fourth step. That means there's a limit to how much forward spine tilt should do. About 45 degrees should be good enough. And to keep that spine tilt as it goes into the release. Okay, other than that, I think his form overall is a little bit on the stiffer side. Let's check his new form compared to his old form. So I'm gonna play both, and we're gonna watch both. Yeah, we're the same speed. His Ariff's form is generally a little bit stiff. That means it's a bit on the slower end. So the walking speed is slower, the swing speed is slower, and you can see that there is like sort of like there's some tension in probably his shoulders, his biceps, and so on as he swings. So this tension, like having this tense muscles in his swing, right, is slowing it down. So if you could actually relax his shoulder muscles, relax his arm muscles a lot more. That means even at the start of the stance right here, if Ariff could relax his shoulder muscles, relax his biceps, relax his forearm, all this relax the right side of his body a lot more. And that means go into the swing a lot with a lot more relaxed posture, less tension in his arm. He could probably speed up the swing a little bit more and get higher ball speed that way. Because the only thing actually we would need would be to hold the ball with a firm grip. So we hold the ball with firm grip, that means we only need to apply like tension in our fingertips. So other than the tension in the fingertips, all the other tension in like the shoulder, maybe a little bit of the biceps because we're supporting the ball, getting under the ball during the stance. So the bicep one you need to have. You need to have a bit of tension there in the biceps. But like the shoulder as well as the forearm, like the tension is not really required. So we want to relax as many muscles as we can so that our swing is as relaxed and smooth as possible. Okay. At this moment, I think I've been quite thorough in my review. So nothing much I could see and say at this point. So thank you guys for watching. And yeah, if you have any videos that you'd like to send to me for review, you can send me over here in my email, my various social media, and you could text me as well. So for bowlers who want like live one-on-one coaching, nowadays I do remote coaching as well. So if you're in any part of the world, whether you're in Europe, in the States, in Middle East and so on, you can arrange one-on-one remote coaching with me. So we can do live coaching via things like Discord live stream, Zoom live stream. For that, I would suggest you contact me via text message, which is at you can see my number in the video description below. And yeah, contact me via there so that we can arrange a time that is suitable for both our time zones, as possible for both me and you. And we can do our live coaching there. The rates will be the same as always, as listed in my website. So the rates will be in SGD. Just convert that to whichever currency that you're using in your country. Then yeah, so it's equal rates for everyone for one-on-one coaching. Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helps two-handed bowlers out there, and we'll see you guys in the next video.